Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to your YouTube channel, CA Sansaar. I hope all of you are fine. Soft skills. Unlike the hard skills that define your technical skills, soft skills are your human, personal, and social skills. They directly refer to your emotional intelligence. Soft skills can make the difference during a job interview. Indeed, your career and your diplomas are important. However, recruiters are increasingly interested in soft skills, and a candidate with fewer qualifications but with lots of soft skills can be preferred over any other more qualified candidate. It's all your know how that is represented by your soft skills, and that can be decisive whether for an interview or for your career. So, with this beginning, I request my fellow colleague Satuti to please welcome our guest speaker.
Good evening, friends. A warm welcome to all. Today, we have a guest speaker, Ms. Amaneesh Kaur. She is a senior counselor for management related courses such as MBA, marketing, business, and corporate finance. She has in depth knowledge of topics like business analytics, data science and analytics, supply chain, brand management, public health, and technical courses. She is a computer engineer from Bangalore and has worked with top names like JP Morgan and Chase as a chief technology analyst. She has guided hundreds of students in their career choices before embarking on her journey as a senior education consultant with SOP and its overseas consultants, India's premier education consultancy that has turned the study abroad dreams of students into reality. In 2019, her consultancy received an award for being the best education consultancy in North India, presented by Excel Research Group in the field of international education. Today, she will discuss on essential soft skills for a professional. When it comes to succeeding professionally, a degree is not enough, nor the experience one gained over the years. Then, what is it that has most people go on the top of the organization hierarchy? Well, they are the elusive soft skills. Though intangible in nature, these soft skills carry a huge significance and when it comes to getting success in professional life. Not only they help you to work effectively in any organization and profession, but they also enable you to interact with people around you effectively. They are often the difference between making people believe in you and being forgotten. And today, and now I would request Miss Anisha to please.
Hi, hello everybody. Thank you, Statuti, for your wonderful introduction. As she already told that I'm here to talk about soft skills and why soft skills are basically important for any profession. And this is something which has been there since a long time with us, I think. So let's start the presentation and talk about why soft skills are meant and what significance do they hold in the life of professionals. Can you see the PPT? Neha ma'am, if you can just confirm.
Yes, it's visible.
Great. So the first thing I would like to talk about here is that my introduction has already been given, but I'll just brief you through what we've done and achieved so far. So we are basically, my name is Amaneesh and I'm the co-founder at SOP at its overseas consultants. This consultancy helps students to realize their study abroad dream. And our consultancy is basically a one-stop solution to all your study abroad needs, from admission, interviews, loan, visa process, accommodation process, networking, everything. We basically cover all of it. And in 2019, as she already told, that our consultancy received an award for being the best education consultancy in North India. I am a diploma holder from London School of Economics, United Kingdom, and I'm an MBA grad from Azade Business School and McDonough Business School, Washington, DC. So let us begin with our presentation for today, which is basically the presentation is about soft skills. So I'll start it by understanding and making everybody who's with us understand what are soft skills. So soft skills basically comprise of communication abilities. Now, these communication abilities are not just the ones which we are in communication with. Like, for example, if I'm talking to you and you think that I'm talking to you in a very well-mannered way, that is not all what soft skills comprise of. Soft skills can be in a very different ways. Basically comprising of communication abilities. It also comprises of a lot of non-tangible things, as Satuti also mentioned, non-tangible things which sometimes are recognizable at the instant and sometimes just leave an impression on the person and stays with them for all. So the first thing I would like to let you know over here is that the communication abilities can be verbal as well as non-verbal. So the verbal ones are the ones which are the interpersonal skills, the ability to communicate in a manner that others understand your ideas and thoughts, they are able to resonate with you, and then they feel like having a conversation with you. If they feel like having a conversation and elongating that conversation with you, that means you're good at talking to people, you're good at convincing them with your ideas, you are good at expressing your thoughts. That is the first gesture of having good soft skills. The second would be non-verbal skills. The non-verbal skills basically do not get transmitted to another person directly, but they are shown as part of your body language. They're shown as part of the confidence you carry, maybe outer confidence or the inner confidence, which we call self-confidence. That's how you carry, the way you carry it also impresses the other person, also enhances your personality. So that is also really, really important. And the vibe, we hear this word a lot many times, I guess, that the person I met yesterday during my corporate meeting had a very positive vibe to himself or to herself. So what do you mean by this vibe factor? Basically, when you carry your confidence with with something which is inside and not something artificial, when you carry your thoughts very confidently, these things make your vibe. And if you're carrying your confidence, your thoughts very positively and have positive thoughts, you'll have a positive vibe altogether. So that gets transmitted automatically in your presence. For example, if you're conducting a meeting, if you're holding a conversation, one-on-one conversation with somebody, or if you're in an interview, it is important to carry a positive vibe and not carry like a dull or a negative vibe, because nobody wants to be around somebody who's negative or who does not have a positive vibe to themselves, right? So some traits of such people are they're very calm, they're very composed, they know how to carry a conversation, they understand the other person's thought process and try to inculcate that while talking. You should not just have a monologue with somebody who are rightly sitting with. You should always engage in a dialogue with them. And many a times, I would like to really mention over here, many a times what happens is we try considering soft skills as a mastery in a particular language. If we know English, we are good at soft skills. If we do not know English, we're not good at soft skills. That is partially true. I would say that's not something which is completely true. If you're not good at a particular language, and if you're sitting in a board of people in a board of meeting wherein all understand another language which you're masters at, like for example, if you're in a meeting which can be conducted in Hindi, and you are a master in Hindi, you have a Hindi Sahitya knowledge, or if you can make all your thoughts basically get very much inculcated in Hindi and very much presented in Hindi, it's absolutely fine. You are good at soft skills too. It's just that it is required in today's world that we know at least 2 languages to converse. Hindi, I think we all are very comfortable with, but English, when it comes to English, many of us lack practice, many of us lack a lot of confidence while talking, and that obviously will come by putting it into daily routine, talking in daily routine in English, conversing in English, reading in English, talking to people in English, and stuff like that, right? So this is the first understanding part of the presentation today, that we know the soft skills are basically the communication factor. Coming to the next slide, I would like to talk about how many types of soft skills do we have, and then I'll concentrate on the first one. So basically, there are 6 types of soft skills. I'll talk about the first 3 in this slide and the first 3 in the next one. The first one would be communication skills. Now, communication skills is something which says that you have a good command on your technical skills, but they are of no use if you don't have good communication. What do I mean by this? You guys are CA. You guys are very technical. You guys know a lot of aptitude knowledge. You guys have a lot of aptitude knowledge. You have completely cleared some very rigorous and heavy competitive exams and have become a CA in your life, right? And every business today needs CA. Every country needs CA. Every smallest business, a startup also needs a CA, right? That makes us understand that your technical skills are at par. This world needs your technical skills, and you have those technical skills. But what if you're not able to communicate those in a well-mannered structure to your client or to people who are listening to you? If that happens in any case, do you think that communication does not play a role over here? Communication is one of the most important factors which comes here, because if your knowledge is not able to reach the other person or reach the audience, then it will be a problem. So it's very important that we should club technical skills with good communication abilities. That is what we call communication skills. Next is leadership skills. Now we all know that at some point in our life we need to have good leadership skills, because it's not just about being a leader at some certain designation. We need to be a leader in our own life. We need to make our own decisions sometimes. We need to talk to people and make them understand what we are wanting to do. We need to manage some projects. We need to schedule some projects. But then what happens is, if we lack the leadership qualities, nobody will take us seriously. And by leadership qualities, I mean you should understand how to take command over what you want to do or what you want to make others do. That is very important. Now the next skills are time management skills. There's a very important saying which says time is what we want the most, but what we use the worst. So time management skills also come under soft skills. You should know how to prioritize your work. You should know how to properly delegate that work in your team. For example, if your team comprises of 5 people and all the work which has been given for a particular project, you are the one who is doing all of that, then obviously that is not proper delegation. You need to understand your team spirit. You need to know the weaknesses and strengths of each and every person who is there with you right in front. And then you need to allocate them work accordingly. Once that is done, then obviously that will mean that you have good time management skills. Last but not the least would be effective collaboration in team to complete work on time. There are a lot of times that because of miscommunication, because of lack of thought process, lack of exchanging thoughts, we get into ego clashes or we get into conflicts with our team members. And that really does not really basically save us time. It actually delays our processes. It delays our work. It does not complete the work on time. So effective time management skills are really important, and that collaboration with team is important. Coming to our next slide, the next skills are presentation skills. So in presentation skills, what happens is you need to have confidence if you're presenting somewhere. If you need to show it to the world that you have certain thought process and that is really good. This is how it should go. For example, if a CA wants to present that a particular project needs to be done and executed this way, you need to have good confidence to show that. And in that, presentation skills matter a lot. You need to have impressive body language. You need to have comprehensive verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Next is customer service skills. What is a business if there are no customers? If you cannot engage customers on time, you will not be having good business to yourself. So it's very important if you want to bring business to your organization. You should have nice and cordial relation because it goes a long way. And then the third important point is you will get referrals because of good communication skills, because of good listening skills with your customer, because of your behavior and your aura, which will obviously get transmitted to your customer. You will get good referrals and promotions through word of mouth, which is really important in today's era. Last but not the least is performance management skills. Now, this is very important. A performance of an individual is directly proportional to the company's performance. That's our second point. Company's performance is always directly proportional to individual performance of employees. If each employee is working well, is working towards the company's goal, then the company's performance will automatically get uplifted. So that is also really important, right? Now, coming to the next and very important slide. Are soft skills important? Yes, definitely they are. What are the reasons behind that? See, your technical skills, your hard skills, or what we would say your aptitude, your thoughts, your ideas, they all will come to a halt or they will be devalued if you do not have good soft skills. The way you talk is the first impression on anyone. The way you carry yourself is the first impression on anyone. If anybody sees your resume, they see that there are excellent aptitude qualities in you, there are excellent technical skills in you. But what if you're not able to present your resume in a better way, or if you're not coming out as a person who's confident, or you're coming out as a person who's not very well versed with their language? It obviously gives negative marking. So it's very important that you have good soft skills. Secondly, workplaces are interpersonal by nature. Any workplace would demand that you have a positive environment, and a positive environment will always come through good communication. So it's important that you have good soft skills to talk to people. You do not come out as an outrageous person. You do not come out as a short-tempered person. You do not come out as somebody who's not able to put their ideas and thoughts in a good line, in a good paragraph, in a good conversation. So these are important when it comes to work culture. Then soft skills ensure customer retention. I've already mentioned about this. The future belongs to soft skills. Yes. Now, for example, I'll tell you, because of COVID, everything has actually turned out online, right? Now we present webinars, we give a lot of presentations, and so I think your clients must be asking you to have direct phone calls with them, rigorous amount of meetings online and stuff like that, right? So what really matters here is how well are you presenting your own self, your thoughts, your ideas in front of them. Obviously, the future belongs to soft skills. First impression is sometimes the last impression. We all know that if we are not able to talk, converse, put ourselves in public speaking, put ourselves in front of the audience, put ourselves in front of other people who want to listen to us, then obviously they will feel that we are not very confident with our ideas, and that impression will stay in their mind. Howsoever we want them to understand that we are good at technical, they will always feel that hesitance or that reluctance to recruit us. So it's important to have an everlasting impression on them in terms of soft skills. Now, expression of thought works well only if we have good expression of speech. What if I have a lot of thoughts in my mind and I'm not able to converse them, I'm not able to transmit them to the other person? They'll just stay in my mind and nothing, nowhere else. They will not be able to produce fruits for me. They will not be able to make me succeed. So it's important that if we have a good thought process, we are able to put it out in the world in a very good way. And for that, communication and soft skills are very, very important. Now, how to improve soft skills? I think this is the most awaited slide for this presentation today. The first thing you need to understand is you need to introspect. You need to understand what are your weaknesses. If you're not confident while talking in front of other people in English or in any language, which for example French, German, whatever, you need to understand that your weakness lies here. Practicing about it, knowing about it, and then working on it will actually help you improve your soft skills. Second is personal reflection. What do I mean by personal reflection? You need to understand from yourself that you are very much good at something and very much bad at something. And if that bad is making you or hindering you from something, make sure you improve that. Make sure you put yourself in a place where you're practicing every single day to understand that I have to improve this bad quality of mine. Training under experienced professionals. A lot of people go for English classes. They go for a good conversation classes. They go for something which is called body language and enhancement of personality classes. So if you have time, you can actually take guidance from an experienced professional. But then what I would suggest is this actually starts at home. If you're able to take care of yourself and your choices at home, you'll be able to pass through these soft skills very, very nicely. It's not something which is actually absolutely impossible. You can really practice at home, work on it, and get out of it. It's not something which is going to keep you loaded all your life. Nothing like that is there. So some of the important tips here are practicing speaking, reading, listening, and writing every day. See, if you feel that talking to people in English has been a hindrance all your life, try talking in front of the mirror. Try reading newspapers. You'll come out with a lot of new lines every day and new words every day. Try writing them down in making notes in journals so that you can understand that these words have these meanings, and then use them in your daily language. Use them in your daily sentences. Talk to elderly people. Talk to people who are not, your age. Talk to elderly people who can converse in English, or even if they don't, just for your own practice, try talking and making a paragraph in English and talking to them every day. That'll really help you. Devoting some time solely for soft skills every day. By this I mean that if you can impart 1 hour of your day every day for just your soft skills, I think that becomes a very good practice, and you can really come up with good soft skills at the end of the day. Because this is like, you cannot think about coming out of a very good soft skill practitioner thing in just one day. You can't do that. If you have to be good at something, you need to give it continuous attention, continuous hard work, continuous determination. So it's important for you to gradually improve, and then finally come up with something. You'll start seeing the improvement. You'll start observing improvement in yourself after obviously 5 days, 1 week, or something. You'll start understanding that there are these words which have stuck in my mind now, and I'll be able to make sentences out of them. And last but not the least is practicing every day. Practicing every day with whatever you have. By even if you're reading just one sentence, try practicing it. Try remembering what those words meant, and try reusing them. That will really help increase your soft skills potential. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, you guys can ask us. And if you want to contact us for anything related to soft skills, or related to any of your questions about study abroad even, you can always contact us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or even on our email ID.
Thank you so much, Amaneesh ma'am. It was really a wonderful presentation on soft skills. Um, we have a couple of queries if you'd like to take them.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, do you have any suggestion on any book that you can recommend, which would help in improving the communication?
Book communication. There are some. I mean, any book, any novel is fine. But if you want to really read for communication, just for the communication, there's this 4-phrase word book. Really don't remember the author, but then I can obviously share it with you. But it's called 4-phrase word, and that book really comes from. I mean, what it does is it gives you the origin of the word, so it's easy for everybody to kind of understand it from the origin and then remember it. So you can maybe go for it, but then reading on a daily basis, I think, should really help.
Right, right. Thank you. So Aditi Jain has a question. Can you please elaborate a little more on how we can enhance our soft skills?
Okay. So Aditi, enhancing your soft skills, as I said, it really requires a lot of practice. Not getting motivated in the middle of it. That is the first thing, because I've seen a lot of students, a lot of people. What they do is they'll just practice for a day or 2 days, maybe, or 4 days, maybe, and then they'll definitely like go by that. So that is something which should not be done. That is not really something which I would recommend. Practicing every day makes a man perfect. So practice. Try reading every day, or just take one activity. Maybe try reading every day. So if you're not into a habit of reading, then try like reading one paragraph one day. Start with that. Or maybe read one page and then start with the other page the next day. Or maybe try reading newspapers. That will actually enhance your knowledge also, plus it will enhance your communication skills as well. Try talking in English with people you are very comfortable with, whom you know that they will not take advantage of your weakness. So try talking in front of them. It will actually enhance your confidence. So you can do that.
Right. So there's another query Madam Hussain. How to improve flow of words and stop unwanted thinking?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
How can we improve the flow of words and stop unwanted thinking?
How can we improve the flow of words?
Improve the
Stop
flow of words
unwanted.
while speaking.
Okay.
How can we improve a flow of words?
And stop unwanted thinking. Understood. So if you want to stop, firstly, I'll just answer the first question. Improve flow of words. Uh, there are two kinds of languages, sir. The first is the language in which you think, and the second is the language in which you speak. So sometimes what happens is the language in which we think is different from the language which we speak. For example, all of us are very, very comfortable in Hindi. So the language in which we think is automatically Hindi. That's the first language. That's called the first language. And when we convert our thoughts, whatever we've thought, in another language, it takes time. So when we are thinking in Hindi and speaking in English, then automatically the flow of words decreases. The flow of words becomes a little not that considerable as it would have been if you would have been speaking in Hindi also. So that is the first thing. You should need to understand the problem. Now, once you have thought in Hindi and you want to talk in English, this can only and only be, this cycle can only and only be fastened or say increased if you do daily practice in converting your Hindi thoughts into English. So improving flow of words will happen that way. Now, for example, in this entire presentation, I'm really sure that I have not used any fancy vocabulary, or I have not used any such words which are not used in common language. So basically, if you think that making a sentence out of a lot of complicated words is something which will impress the other person, that is not true. Even a simple word language, a simple sentence will also impress the other person if they have understood what you're trying to say. So the flow of words is basically out of practice. Now, if I talk to you and if I'm thinking in Hindi, it's not like I'm thinking in English. Even my first language is Hindi, so I'm also thinking in Hindi. I'm converting it first in English, and then I'm talking to you guys, right? So the flow of words, as your first question suggests, will be improved only if you practice this. You have to constantly practice talking in English. So automatically there is a cache memory in your mind which will contain those words which you used on a daily basis, and it will be easy to basically remove those words from there and talk in equation with those words. Right? Now stop unwanted thinking. So this is really focus.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. There is some echo coming from your side.
Can you hear now? Is this fine?
This is better.
Yeah. So he's asking about stopping unwanted thinking. So in this case, what happens is, an unwanted thinking, basically, this is about focus. If you can focus on, like, if I do not focus on your question, I will also go to some other world. I will also start thinking about, okay, it's Saturday today, I have to maybe party, I have to weekend, or I have to do other things. And then obviously I will not talk in a way I am trying to talk right now. Right? So my focus has completely been my presentation. How did I do that? I am just focusing. My mind should be completely free of everything else. So unwanted thinking can be removed only by your focus, by your meditation, the amount of focus you can put in something. How badly do you need it? That is how basically you can change this.
Right. The next query is by Santosh Gupta. That ma'am, in India, if I only focus on speaking English without focusing on accent, either British or American.
If I focus only on speaking English without focusing on accent, either American or British. So, I mean, I didn't understand the question. So he's asking, does that make a difference?
Yes, yes.
See, as far as accent is concerned, sir, all of us have Indian accent. There's no American or British accent at the moment. If I talk in British accent, it's completely different from American and vice versa, right? So firstly, if you're faking an accent, it will completely show. It is not something which we will not understand. So British accent and American accent, if come naturally to somebody, it can be distinguished from a fake accent. So it is always advisable to talk in your own accent rather than just faking it out. Because I don't think Indian accent is not very. It's very difficult to understand. It's not. Indian accent is as good as talking like when I was studying abroad. I mean, I did not catch any accent. I was talking in my Indian accent, and it was really fine. Everybody could understand what I'm speaking. and I could understand what they're speaking. Obviously, it comes with practice, but then it was completely fine. So you don't have to worry about accent. I think in communication skills, accent is the last thing you should worry about. If you're able to talk well, and if you still think that, like for example, when we say father, and if you're able to say father fine, if you say father, mother, and if you think that is coming out bad in front of other people because you're saying father and you're emphasizing more on the R word and so, that can be removed by practice. I think that's diction. That's more with diction rather than the accent.
Right. Okay. So Aditi Jain has a question that how can we develop such soft skills in children?
Okay, this is very important and a very good question, I feel, Aditi. So in children, if you want them to feel that this is all normal, English is normal, and it is not treated as a very privileged language, then try talking to them as much as you can in English. And by that, I do not mean that you should neglect other languages. Till your child is 7 years of age, they will be able to adopt everything, whatever you tell them. So it's important for you to talk to them in as many languages as you can. Just don't emphasize on something so much that they feel that it's pressure. Like if they even talk, I've seen some parents. So, for example, there was a neighbor, there was a family in my neighborhood. What they used to do is, if there is a person who used to talk to the child in Hindi, the child used to not respond. If they used to talk to her in English, only then she will respond. So that was the upbringing the parents were bringing in the child. And I personally feel that is not something which we are actually trying to get in our child. What if your child wants to become an IAS officer tomorrow? English is really important for her because she has to stay in a country which is English speaking, Hindi speaking. Sorry, Hindi is very important for her, right? So it's important to inculcate these things in your in your children's upbringing, because otherwise, obviously, they'll start again. They'll start refraining from talking in a particular language, and that is very common in Indian parents' style. So talk to them in English. Try reading them books. Try listening to. There are so many cartoons. They're all in English. So try to make them listen to YouTube channels which are English oriented, which are very knowledge oriented. I feel so. That really helps. I've literally seen a person nurturing her child this way. So she used to put her YouTube channels in front of her child, and the exact accent also the child has grasped now. So I think audio, visuals, audio, these are things really help a lot.
Right. So Neeraj has a query that I I'm hesitant, and how can I improve the hesitation that I have?
Hesitation can be, again, all answers to, these are all questions which have one particular thing in common, I feel, Neha. The thing is, hesitation can be improved by, again, talking, practicing every day, improving day by day, and not just feeling that I will improve in only one day. You should make an improvement from one single day to another, and you should gauge your improvement, you should measure your improvement. I am hesitating to talk in one sentence today. After 1 week, I should be hesitant to talk while I'm talking about a one full paragraph. Another 1 week, I should be hesitant to talk while I'm talking about two big paragraphs. So that is improvement. And one day will come when you're not hesitant at all while talking about the entire story of yours. So it's about practice. It's really about practice.
True. So Dani has a question that why good communication means good English only? Isn't communication about conveying your message, be it in any language?
Correct. Very much true and very good question. I've also covered this in my presentation. I actually told this, that communication skill is to have a common language with the person who's listening to you. Good communication skill means you're able to make him understand or her understand in that common language. So English is not a bar. It's not a bar. Unfortunately, we have come across, or maybe I should say, unfortunately and fortunately, we are in a country or in a world which has become multinational now. All projects which we do, all kinds of multinational companies which we follow in, which we engage in, or which we want our recruitment in, everybody in those companies, all of them are not necessarily speaking one common language. And by far, see, if we come to a consensus, I'll make you understand Spanish is the most commonly spoken language in the entire world. But not every Indian knows Spanish. पर फिर भी हमारा काम चल रहा है. The reason behind that is English comes to a rescue. Almost 95% of the world speaks English. So it's fine. If you know one language which is common to the person you're talking to, it's fine. अगर मैं आज आप लोगों से हिंदी में अच्छे से बात कर पा रही हूँ और आप लोग मेरी सारी बात हिंदी में समझ पा रहे हो, तो मैं बोलूँगी कि मेरे पास अच्छे communication skills हैं. I will never rate myself as somebody who's degraded in their communication skills. Not at all. So that is not something. The point was basically soft skills जब आते हैं ना तो हमेशा कोशिश रहती है या दूसरे बंदे जो आपको सुन रहा है उस इंसान की कोशिश होती है कि आप उनसे उस भाषा में बात करें जिसमें सब समझ पा रहे हैं. And English comes as a very common language that.
So Aman has a query that when we are practicing, how can I identify my mistakes?
Oh, very good question. How when we are practicing, how can I identify my mistakes? So Aman, I'll make a very common statement here. Like for example, I ask somebody, where did you went yesterday? If I ask this question to someone, they will. It's completely fine for a lot of people. It's completely fine because I'm talking about yesterday. So went is the word which I should use, right? But then with did, it always comes as a first form of verb. You should have a first form of verb attached with did, and not many people till today know about this. And it's demeaning. It's disappointing to understand that a lot of people, even intellects, even a lot of educationists, they are also making these kind of mistakes, right? So how do I change this? Even I used to make this mistake when I changed this in my sixth standard. So till fifth, when I was learning in a convent school, I still made I used to have a second form of verb till date. So everybody in this world has a chance to change their mistakes, right? Now, how did I change it? I started reading. So when I used to read, I used to see that this is because obviously if you're reading a good novel, a good book, it has gone through a lot of filtrations, a lot of editing. So seldom will there be any mistakes in those, I assume. Now, if you're reading something, it'll automatically come to you that did has been followed up with a first form of verb, and then you'll start practicing while you're talking in English. Similarly, if you see some series, there are so many web series which have come in English. If you watch those, you'll automatically watch them with subtitles at first. You'll automatically start understanding that these are the things which need to be there to have proper grammar. And mostly we make mistakes in grammar. That is the most common mistake to make. To form a sentence, it is not important for you to know fancy words, as I said. A normal plain sentence is fine until and unless you have completely put good grammar in it. So that is how you can identify your mistakes. By reading, I would say that's the first, and by watching good web series.
So a lot of people are asking this question. Even Rupali has that question. Do you recommend any courses or that one should take to improve their soft skills, or they should just develop what you mentioned, reading and all these habits, and that will eventually improve their soft skills?
I personally feel, I personally feel that this is something which is very individualistic. Like if you feel that you cannot do it on your own, then obviously you might need a guide or a mentor. What I really recommend is you should not initiate with that. Like आज मैंने सोचा है मुझे मेरी स्किल्स पर काम करना है और कल मैंने मेंटोर रख लिया या मैं किसी गाइड या किसी कोचिंग सेंटर के अंदर भर्ती हो गई. That is not the way to go about it. First try getting hands on with it at home. खुद से एक बार करने की कोशिश कीजिए. Because आपको जो मेंटोर बताएंगे वो भी आपको खुद ही करना है. It's not something that they'll just put like in a mug and you will have to just drink it and आपका soft skills हो गया. No. Even they'll ask you to practice. Even they'll ask you to word read. Even they'll ask you to, all of these practices which I've just told you are something which are very common. तो कोशिश कीजिए कि एक बार आप खुद से वो करना स्टार्ट कर सकें. एक बार आप वो करेंगे तो आई थिंक दैट विल मेक अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस. और उसके बाद अगर आपको फिर भी मेंटरशिप की जरूरत पड़ती है, देन ऑब्वियसली यू कैन मे बी गेट थ्रू.
Right. So Chinna Swami has a issue that I'm using very basic English. How can I learn business English?
Chinnaswamy, there are no definitions to basic English and business English. There's no distinguish. I cannot distinguish between a basic English and a business English. Just that obviously business language is a little formal language. You cannot use words like yar and all that stuff in when you're talking about in English. Or you cannot use short forms like for because we've started using COZ, which is cause, and for from we start using for and then RM. These are not the words which need to be used in business English. But apart from that, when I talk about colloquially, when I'm talking verbally to somebody, there is no difference at all. So addressing somebody, yes, like
Amaneesh, can you hear me? Ma'am, can you hear me? It seems there is some connectivity issues at her end. Let's wait for a minute or two if she can join back. Meanwhile, all of you, I would like to inform you that tomorrow, 4:30 p.m., we are holding a very special, intriguing webinar on yoga for body, mind, and soul. And we will be having a yoga expert, Ms. Neha Raka, tomorrow. Please do join us at 4:30. Yes.
hi again.
Yeah. I think there was some internet connectivity issues.
I think so, yes.
So please continue. Should we take the next query? You want to add something to the previous query that you answered?
No, I think I was done. I just wanted to like say that there is nothing called business English. If you're very confident with your simple plain English and you think that you're not making any mistakes, you might as well can use it anywhere. If I'm talking like this to you, Neha, I'll talk to the other person as well in the same manner as today, right? So I mean, there's no distinguishment to be made at this.
Right. So Manisha has a query that there are no issues in speaking English, but when it comes to giving a presentation, won't someone get blank while saying it extempore? So how can we improve that point?
Okay, so here we are mixing something very important. If you're fine with speaking in English, that means your communication skills and your soft skills are at place. What you're facing a problem in is public speaking, or fear of stage fear, or maybe talking in front of people. You get nervous, and which is why there's a probability that you might get blank. So that's what, when I said introspection, how can you improve soft skills? By introspection and personal reflection, I meant that you should know your weakness. Your weakness is not talking in English. Your weakness is public speaking. Your weakness is stage fear. And if firstly, if you've identified your weakness, then you can only improve on that. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं मेरे पैर में दर्द है और मैं अगर इलाज अपनी कमर का करवाती रहूंगी तो मैं किसी दिन भी ठीक नहीं हो सकती. So I need to identify that weakness in my qualities, and then only can I improve on it. Now, how can you improve on public speaking and stage fear? Again, practice. First, start with talking in front of the mirror. The first and the foremost step is that, because obviously you are your own critique. You will be able to understand where have you gone wrong. Start talking in front of the camera. These days there are so many I would say facilities which have been provided to us. So you can start talking in front of the camera, record yourself, show it to somebody you really trust on, or is your mentor or is your guide. You can really take guidance from them. How did I speak? Where did I make mistakes? Is my body language not coming across well? Am I coming out very nervous? Am I not able to relate with the audience in the correct way? Are they able to resonate with me? These are also the points. Apart from just talking and making your points in English, The other points which revolve around your public speaking, your soft skills are also these. To have an effective body language, to have a very good impersonating character which goes really well while talking to other people, maybe one or maybe many. So try with your own self in front of the mirror, record yourself, and then try talking in front of your friends. Maybe have a 4 or 5 friend kind of a gang. Have group discussion, GD. Take out any small topic, debate on it with your friends. If you feel you are in favor of it, if you feel you're against it, talk to them about it. Talk about current affairs. There are so many things which the world is giving us to think about. There are so many happenings in the entire world. Ram Temple, Beirut bomb blast. There's so much happening. So maybe you can sit with your friends, talk about it, and maybe make sure that you make a pact of talking completely in one particular language. एक भी word दूसरी भाषा का use नहीं करना है. If you make such pacts, you'll automatically put it hard in your brain कि हाँ मुझे words अच्छे से अच्छा use करके मेरी बात बतानी है. And do it on a daily basis. It's not just one day thing. So this is how you can basically overcome your public speaking hindrance.
Okay. So, very interesting question by Madan Ji, that what to do when I start closing while addressing a meeting.
So maybe you're sleepy, sir, I would say. So basically, if your eyes start closing while addressing a meeting, sir, I'm not able to understand. I mean, can you explain what does he mean by this?
Let me see if he wants to elaborate on this question further. Okay, so let's take the next one by Mr. Vinod Jain. How would you go about simplifying a complex issue in order to explain it to a client or a colleague?
How would you go about simplifying a complex issue in order to explain it to a client or colleague? Okay, so I'll just try giving an example of our own work. Maybe then it will be easy for them to understand. So we are into consultancy, wherein every day we talk to and converse with a lot of students all across India who want to go abroad for their higher studies. Now, not everyone knows about the entire process, right? So the first thing which we need to make sure is that we know the entire process ourselves. हमें ही अगर नहीं पता है प्रोसेस और मुझे ही अगर डाउट्स आ रहे हैं, like somebody wants to go settle in Canada, वो मुझसे क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हैं and I'm getting irritated about those questions and I'm not able to answer them in a correct way. The basic reason behind that can be that I am not able to identify the entire process myself. मुझे ही नहीं पता. So first thing is, if you want to simplify a complex issue, know the points of simplification. First yourself. पहले तो आप उनको दिमाग में रख लीजिए बैक ट्रैक करने के लिए कि हाँ मुझे पता है ये कॉम्प्लेक्स इशू है, इसको मैं इन पार्ट्स में सिंपलर पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकता हूँ. आपने जब सोच लिया, द सेकंड पॉइंट, फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज एक्सप्लेनिंग योरसेल्फ, द सेकंड पॉइंट इज एक्सप्लेनिंग अदर्स. अगर आपके दिमाग में ये पूरा पॉइंट टू पॉइंट सिस्टम आ गया है कॉम्प्लेक्स से सिंपल करने का, देन एक्सप्लेनिंग टू अदर्स इज इट टेक्स टू थिंग्स. अगेन, लैंग्वेज एंड कंटेंट. आपकी लैंग्वेज पे कमांड होना चाहिए. If you're able to properly put the thought process of yours in a good language or a soft skill, तो अच्छा है. If you're not able to do so, then obviously your thoughts will stay in your mind. आप कभी भी उस complex situation को simplify नहीं करके दिखा सकेंगे. Just because you do not have a good language kind of a structure, right? तो मेरे हिसाब से first आप अपने complex issue को simpler parts में खुद के लिए divide कीजिए and then try communicating those simpler parts to the person in front of you or to the colleague or to your client by talking in a good perspective language.
Right. So to all our viewers, if you have any queries, please mention it in the comment section or the chat box. We'll take all of them. So in the meanwhile, the next query is by Rupali, that how can we be expert in pronunciation, because we face a lot of issues while pronouncing certain words.
Pronouncing. Okay, pronunciation is Rupali, to be honest with you, there are some words which even I am not comfortable, or nobody is perfect in this world. So there are a lot of words which we might feel that they are complex. Personal meeting, then I'll use that word, and if it's not right, then somebody corrects me, I take it as a very positive feedback. That's the first way to go about it. So I never try avoiding that word, because if somebody corrects me, that will stay in my mind. I always take that as constructive feedback. So make sure you do not avoid that, avoid using that word, because many people, what they do is, I mean, if they are not very sure of a pronunciation, they'll just avoid that word for their entire life, and then obviously you cannot improve if you're avoiding things and not using them. कभी ना कभी आगे कभी use करना पड़ेगा in front of professionals, then you might feel it as a challenge. तो अगर फ्रेंड्स के साथ हैं और अगर कोई पर्सनल मीटिंग में है, या फिर अगर मैं इफ आई एम सर्फिंग ऑनलाइन, मैं प्रोनाउंसिएशंस देखती रहती हूँ. अगर मुझे कहीं पर भी लगता है दैट आई एम डाउटफुल ऑफ दिस प्रोनाउंसिएशन, और इफ आई एम नॉट श्योर दैट दिस वर्ड इज पुट एज दिस, तो मैं उसको पढ़ूंगी, उसके बारे में देखूंगी. लाइक a lot of times we say eyebrow, and it's not eyebrow, it's eyebrow. So I read about it, I checked it. तो ये सब खुद से, अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट है, आपको खुद से पता लगने लग जाएगा. That is the first thing. Secondly, अगर आप किसी प्रोफेशनल मीटिंग में हैं और आपको लगता है कि मैं यहाँ अगर गलती करूँगी तो हो सकता है that might fall out as a bad impression, तब आप अवॉइड कर सकते हैं वो वर्ड यूज़ करना. उसकी जगह कोई सिंपलर वर्ड यूज़ कर लीजिए जिसकी प्रोनाउंसिएशन में आपको इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, एंड यू आर श्योर अबाउट द प्रोनाउंसिएशन ऑफ दैट वर्ड. ये दो चीज़ें मैं बताना चाहूँगी. एंड थर्डली, कभी कभी क्या होता है, वी बिकम वेरी पर्टिकुलर अबाउट प्रोनाउंसिएशन, वी बिकम वेरी वेरी पर्टिकुलर अबाउट प्रॉपर नाउन्स, कि नहीं इसको ऐसे नहीं ऐसे ही बोलते हैं, ऐसे. देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ इंग्लिश गोइंग ऑन अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. अमेरिकन इंग्लिश अलग है, ब्रिटिश इंग्लिश अलग है. पीपल हु आर फ्रॉम द यूरोप, दे हैव डिफरेंट एक्सेंट ऑल टुगेदर, डिफरेंट डिक्शन, डिफरेंट राइटिंग, डिफरेंट प्रोनाउंसिएशन टू इंग्लिश. सो हो सकता है यू नो फ्रॉम वन पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड एंड योर फ्रेंड इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द अदर पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. हो सकता है. तो जरूरी नहीं है that proper nouns should have like a definite pronunciation to themselves. आप कभी किसी proper noun को किसी प्रकार की pronunciation में बोल सकते हैं. It's not something I think which is very strict. But अगर आपको बहुत सारे words में problem हो रही है, तब तो मैं I would suggest कि आप थोड़ा read करें इस बारे में. आप pronunciations देख सकते हैं. Wikipedia पे आप जब जाते हैं तो आपको mic आता है. आप उस mic पे pronunciation डालेंगे तो आपको pronunciation ही आ जाएगी. So that's something you can really do.
So Vishal has a query that how can we guide our children to improvement in writing and grammar skills?
Okay, Vishal, how old is your child? Basically, grammar और writing तो मुझे लगता है काफ़ी elderly age में ही आएगा. तो मेरे हिसाब से बच्चा कौन से ईयर में है या कौन से क्लास में है, उससे फर्क पड़ता है. बिकॉज पहले तो बच्चों को जो आजकल जो बोर्ड्स चल रहे हैं एंड करिकुलम जो चल रहा है, उसमें तो अभी फिलहाल आजकल फोनिक्स आ गए हैं. बच्चों को ABCD की जगह A, B, S, K, they are trying to teach them sound so that the child is able to grasp it quickly. वो चीज़ भी आ गई है. तो I'm not really sure बच्चा कौन से साल में है. अगर बच्चा बड़ा है, उसको grammatical mistakes में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, राइटिंग में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, make them read and write as much as they can right from today, ताकि उन्हें वो प्रॉब्लम ना फेस करनी पड़े जो हमें फेस करनी पड़ रही है. हो सकता है हमारे टाइम पे there was a lot of challenge with convent schools, with सरकारी स्कूल एंड स्टफ, तो बहुत सारे उन लोगों को उतना प्रिविलेज नहीं मिल पाया. हो सकता है वो भी एक केस रहा हो. बहुत सारे स्टेट
he has mentioned the child is 12 years old.
Yeah, then definitely make sure that he or she reads a lot. आप उनको प्लीज एक्स्ट्रा बुक्स, जैसे कि नॉट जस्ट दी करिकुलम ओरिएंटेड बुक्स, आप प्लीज उनको एक्स्ट्रा बुक्स, एक्स्ट्रा स्टोरी बुक्स हो गई, एक्स्ट्रा रीडिंग बुक्स हो गई, मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स की बुक्स हो गई, आप ये प्लीज लाके दीजिए. उनका थोड़ा मूड बनाइए कि वो पढ़ सके. पढ़ेंगे तो लिखेंगे अच्छा और बोलेंगे अच्छा. न्यूज़पेपर रोज पढ़िए सब. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
So this query I think is arising from your CV only. How can we get maximum bands in IELTS as you mentioned in your CV as an immigration agent?
So maximum bands in IELTS, Rupali, you need to firstly, there are 4 modules in IELTS, as you must be knowing already if you know about the exam. There's reading, there's writing, there's listening, and there's speaking. And only one mantra can help you to get through with a good band. Overall good band is by only practicing these 4 modules. You need to know about the speaking module and listening and reading and writing module. If you're not good at any one of them, it will reflect in the others also. It's important for you to be good, to be sure about these ones. So try practicing about and IELTS is a format, it's a paper. So it's different from what we're talking today, I guess. It's different from having good soft skills. IELTS is a module oriented paper. So what they're trying to gauge is, what they're trying to measure is, in this much time, how efficient are you in a particular language. And that is not soft skills basically about. So maybe you can just practice, I guess, the exam.
Right. So there is another query by R.M. Vizini. How to control internal pressure while speaking in front of public?
Internal pressure. Um, See, everyone gets nervous. Yazimi, RMS, everyone gets nervous. Before even coming to this webinar, I really didn't know how many people are actually joining us. I actually asked Neha about how much presentation, how many people, like slides should I make and what should I be talking about and stuff like that. So while beginning the presentation, I had some constraints in my mind. I had some hesitance. I was thinking about how would I be able to carry it out and stuff like that. But then gradually, I'm now a bit more confident than I was in the starting of the webinar. So I'm able to speak my heart out. I'm able to talk to you about entirely what my thought process is going on, which is why my pace of talking has also increased. So what I'm trying to basically make you understand is everyone goes through this nervous breakdown. Everyone has those ups and downs. So it's not something which you are only facing, I would say. Now, how to overcome an internal pressure situation is, again, you are the only solution for yourself. You need to focus on the good. You need to say that you are here in front of the public to talk about a particular thing, and you need to make the best use and the best efforts of yours at that time. So just concentrate on that and avoid all other negative and overthinking thoughts from your mind. That will decrease your internal pressure. Stay calm before your presentation. Like take a good sleep, revise, and everything should be like done, I think, way before you have your actual presentation. Because if you're in pressure even before the presentation, that will reflect again. You'll be more tired. You'll not do the 100. You'll not give your 100% because of the efforts which you are putting now. You've been continuously putting across the day. So make sure you're calm and composed even before the presentation.
Right. So I've received another query. How can we measure soft skills? Because hard skills can apparently be measured basis the degree that we've achieved and the diplomas. But how do we actually measure soft skills?
See, there, no, very good question, firstly. But then, what I really want people to know is nobody in this entire world, even if I talk to Bill Gates today, I'm not sure if he's going to be, or everyone in this world, I think, might be, or um, uh, they might feel challenged somewhere. It's not something which has a bar कि आप अगर इतना पढ़े हैं तो मतलब आप 100% अच्छे हैं सॉफ्ट स्किल्स में, या आपके पास अगर इतना पैसा है और आप इतने सक्सेसफुल हैं तो आप 100% अच्छे हैं सॉफ्ट स्किल्स में. That's not something how we measure it. क्योंकि हार्ड स्किल्स मेजर करने के लिए यू हैव डिफरेंट एग्जाम्स ऑल्सो, एंड आपकी टेक्निकल स्किल्स का एक कह लो एक मेजरमेंट होता है. जैसे आप फॉर एग्जांपल आप लोग सब सीए हैं, तो आप लोगों को जो टेक्निकल स्किल्स होनी चाहिए, दोज आर देयर, एंड दैट इज व्हाई यू क्रॉस द एग्जाम, यू पास द एग्जाम, एंड यू गाइज आर अ सीए टुडे, राइट. पर जरूरी नहीं है सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के अंदर ये मेजरमेंट्स होना. ये मेजरमेंट्स को ना काउंट करते हुए व्हाट यू कैन बेसिकली कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन इज, जब आप किसी से बात कर रहे हैं तो वो आपकी भाषा से और आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस से कितना कन्विंस हुए. If the other person is not able to understand your thought process, you are lacking somewhere. आप ये बस इस बात से देखिए. Now this can be in your personal space also, where obviously you can use any kind of language. Sorry, are we there?
And yeah.
So आप इंग्लिश भी बात कर सकते हैं, आप हिंदी भी बात कर सकते हैं, दैट्स कम्प्लीटली योर्स. पर जब आप किसी पर्सनल मीटिंग की जगह प्रोफेशनल मीटिंग में हैं, obviously you have to stick to a certain decorum, right? तो उस समय जब आपको एक particular constraint दिया गया है that you have to carry the entire project in English and you have to put the entire presentation across a bunch of international delegates, तो आप उनको कितने अच्छे से convince कर पा रहे हैं with your language. And now this has 2 points. आपका thought process कितने अच्छे से आ रहा है और आप कितनी अच्छी भाषा यूज कर रहे हैं. They will measure you and gauge you according to both of these things. Your thought process will come across to them only if you have good language, if you have command on good language. अगर आप grammatical mistakes बनाते जा रहे हैं ना, they will not tell you there. They will just note that. So they will start taking you less seriously अगर आप grammatically wrong हैं तो. I've literally experienced this. I've literally faced this in while like taking interviews, while taking जब बच्चे भी बात कर रहे हैं, बाहर जाने की बात कर रहे हैं, और वो इंटरव्यू के अंदर if they've made a very good point, बहुत valid point बोला है, सब कुछ सही बताया है, but they've used wrong grammar, तो उनके points negative हुए हैं. So that's important.
So, one more query that I received is that why are such skills not taught as a part of the curriculum when they are so important in life? Why does the curriculum only focuses on the hard skills so much?
So I think this is a very good question again, Neha, because I also feel that there should be something which should be done about this, because if everyone is feeling so challenged about this today, then I think there is something wrong with our curriculum, which is why we feel so challenged. So even I am with the person who's always asked this question, that why are they not providing soft skills in the, but I think a lot of things have changed. Like the time we used to study, we never had like a soft skill session and stuff. But then all of our studies used to happen in English, which is why we got like a good command, and then we started understanding and resonating with the language. Nowadays, students have really come up, like these schools have really come up with good curriculum. They are talking about phonics, and that is very, very good. They know that the students should understand and distinguish between sounds of the word rather than just mugging A, B, C, D, E. A for apple, B for, ये सब नहीं सिखा रहे हैं. तो ये चीज़ काफ़ी अच्छी है, काफ़ी चेंजेस आ रहे हैं. अगर फिर भी आपको चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है अपने बच्चे के लिए, खुद के लिए, तो एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट्स डालिए. मैं आपको यही बताना चाहूँगी.
So, in that, even Dinesh Khanna has a query that how to teach English speaking and writing skills to kids who are aged 5 years.
5 years. So I have a niece who is 5 years exactly, and she can really pull off an entire conversation in English. I mean, I'm so proud of her that she can really do that. So the thing is that this is right parenting also, I would say. My obviously sister-in-law taught a lot. She used to teach her every day, every single day. There was a time when she used to just talk to her in English. But then, yes, obviously Hindi should come into picture also. But then talking in English really helps. That is first. If you are not very good in English as a parent, try making them कार्टून का सबको शौक है, सारे बच्चों को शौक. तो हिंदी में कार्टून दिखाने से अच्छा आप उनको इंग्लिश में कार्टून लगा दीजिए. उनका एंगेजमेंट भी बना रहता है और वो वहां से पिक भी बहुत करते हैं. सो यूट्यूब इज कम्प्लीटली फुल ऑफ इंग्लिश कार्टून्स. आप उनको वो दीजिए फर्स्ट. सेकेंडली, देर आर अ लॉट ऑफ टॉयज विच आर लैंग्वेज एंड नॉलेज स्किल्ड. वो होते ही इसलिए ताकि वो बच्चों को लैंग्वेज सिखा सकें, नॉलेज दे सकें. ट्राई यूजिंग दोज. तो ये आप डेली की, अगर अपने बच्चे के डेली की रूटीन में ये सब लेकर आएंगे, then I think, I mean, it's good to go. अच्छा रहता है बच्चों के लिए, they do well.
Right. So one of the last query that I've received is that can you please summarize top 3 essential soft skills that are very important for a person to learn?
Top 3 soft skills, they asked, right? The first would be communication, without a doubt. वो तो होना ही चाहिए. Second, I think time management ले सकते हैं आप. Time management भी ठीक रहेगा. And third is leadership skills.
Right. So I think we are nearly done with the queries now. If anyone still has any query, please share it in the chat box and we'll take it with them. It was such an excellent presentation and such beautifully you answered all the queries. I think most of the queries have been answered in the presentation itself. So no more queries, I guess. Thank you so much, Amaneesh ma'am. It was such
My
a wonderful
pleasure.
presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who was actually a part of this, and thank you, Neha ma'am. Thank you for even inviting me for this. I was very reluctant at first, but then thank you so much to. And actually, I would address this to everybody that even I was reluctant to come to a soft skill session. So imagine, everyone has their own share of things. So don't worry on that. Thank you so much.
This is how we realize that communication and soft skills are very essential, not just in a career, but in life for each one of us, irrespective of the age we are.
Correct. Correct. Very much true.
So, my request to all of you to please join us tomorrow also for a very nice and intriguing webinar on yoga for body, mind, and soul by yoga expert Neha Raka. We would be having it at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. Please do join us. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much for watching.